Hello, and welcome to Protect and Prevent. My name is Opal Singleton. I'm the host of this podcast, and we are going to talk today about how much do you know about yourself online. And then we'll talk a little bit about how much do others know about you, and then how much do others know about your children online. This started as a line of thinking for me because I'm the president and CEO of an organization called Million Kids. That is Million, millionkids.org. We've been around like 15 years, and we're all about keeping kids safe from predators. And I recently released a new book called Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. And it's for advocates and pastors and teachers and law enforcement and like that. But one of the discussions that came about as I was researching this is how easy it is for a total stranger to win over your child. And one of the reasons they do that is it looks like it's someone who knows them. And that includes knowing the parent. One of the cases that I talked about in the book that we researched, the kid said, "Mom, they knew everything about us. They had a picture of our house." Well, the house, of course, is on Google Images or Google Maps. But they had a picture of the inside of the house, which really kind of spooked them, okay? But their house had been on Zillow. If your house has been on Zillow, please contact your realtor and tell them to get it off as soon as it sells, because you cannot remove the photos on Zillow. You need someone to do it. But they also apparently gone on to LinkedIn and looked up the mom because they had a picture of the mom and where mom worked. Now, for this young person, it was really scary stuff because it felt like this would be somebody who knew a lot about them. And the reason this is so important is because as parents began to talk to kids about online safety, or let's say pastors or teachers or sports coaches, anybody that talks to a kid about online safety, they're going to get pushback. That's how it works. The kid will go, "Oh, Mom, I know. Oh, Dad, don't worry. I'm going to know." Well, I'm going to encourage you, Mom and Dad, and Grandma and Grandpa too, to say how. Show me how you're going to know if you are talking to a good person or a bad person if someone comes on to you that you have never met in person. Now, this happens all the time in our kids' lives. They think nothing of it. They're in those video games. That's called mass audience live streaming. You're in a video game, you're on there with millions of people. And you learn to trust your teammates. And so kids automatically think that they have some inside track on how to determine if somebody's going to do something bad to them. But the thing that we're starting to recognize as I research my book, one of the things that has happened is the entire world became connected by internet. So our kids are no longer just talking to people in their social group. They're no longer talking to people just, in a video game where they're at, or maybe their classmates where they're exchanging things. They are on the World Wide Web. And what has happened is cartels and criminal organizations all over the world now have global internet connection going right into your child's bedroom, right onto your child's iPad. And they can come on to your kid. And so how is your kid going to know if they're talking to the kid down the street or someone from a Nigerian scam farm? How are they going to know? Well, if you talk with your child, and I encourage you to do that, one of the things I'd like you to do, Mom and Dad, is go on with your young person and Google yourself. Maybe use some of the chat bots. I did the very same thing myself today. I went on to Grok. I went on to Chat GBT, PT, and I went on to Copilot. And it's amazing the amount of information that is on the site about me. Now, To be fair, I have been a public figure for the last 15 years. I've trained nearly 1 million people about online exploitation and sex trafficking. So I'm fairly well known, and this is my third book. So, okay, maybe I'm a little bit different. But what I'd like you to do is to do this with your young person, for them to look up themselves and for you to look up yourself, and maybe ask a couple of these chatbots. And mom and dad, you might even want to look up your LinkedIn profile if you're a professional person on there. Are there photos? Go to Google and look it up, and then look in Google Images. Are there photos of you or your kids that are online? What can you find, and do it together as a project? Let's see how much people really know about us. Because here is what is happening. We have had a situation in the last 3 years here in the United States called financial sextortion. Okay. And it's affecting young guys that are 13 to 17, mostly. A couple of them were 19. I think one might have been 12. But it's mainly males. And what they do is that they trust. They trust people online. And what will happen is an overseas group, either Nigeria or Myanmar or Pakistan or Ivory Coast, those are the most common ones, but it can be anywhere in the world. You see, 70% of the entire world is now connected by online 5G high-speed internet. They have access to the exact same information you have. They have all the latest technology that you have. They have geolocation software. That is what my book is about, digital warfare. They have geolocation software. They know where you're at the time. On top of it, they have money transfer. So they can easily blackmail young people into sending money. And so what has happened over the last 3 years is that people in these foreign countries have come on to our kids and they look like a friend of a friend. And that is the exact criteria that literally our young people use to determine if this is somebody that can be trusted. But the difference is now is that they have artificial intelligence. They can go online and gather up all the information about you. So when they approach your child, it'll look like somebody they should know or that knows them. On top of it, all of their friends on Instagram, all of their followers on TikTok are usually public knowledge. So what will happen is your kid is using friend of a friend or someone who knows me as the criteria, and that is the exact criteria criminal organizations are using all over the world to look like somebody your child knows. So they will get your child in a weak moment and they'll start talking. And the kid will go, well, it must be okay because they know da 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 da. They know this one, they know that one, they know about me, they know about our homecoming deal or maybe a game that happened. You see, what is happening is that foreign criminal groups are gathering up information on the most successful kids. This is really where I have trouble getting through to pastors and parents. They'll go, my kid's a good kid. Do you know that of the 40-some young males that have taken their own life in the last 3 years, and it is tragic. I can't even imagine losing your child to an overseas scam farm, a Nigerian scam farm. But every one of those kids were high achievers. You see, we're used to kids getting in trouble because they're kids on the edge. We think that the only kids that are going to get in trouble are those that are from the foster agency or they're homeless or runaway or pregnant or something. Kids that are often in trouble. That is no longer the truth in this kind of thing. What is happening here is that they are targeting very successful kids. And you want to know why they are? It is because all of their successes are online and easy to access, especially if you're using Chat GPT or one of those services that are out there, Grok or even Copilot, they're gathering up information online. So they are going to target the ones that have the most information. And guess who that is? That is our super achievers. That is our Christian kids who get awards, who get a scholarship, who are being recruited. Maybe they're getting a special kind of a recognition somewhere. They are targeting high achievers because that is the most information online. Except nobody has taken this high achiever aside and said, wait a minute, the rules of engagement have changed. And a friend of a friend is are five of the most dangerous words you can think of. We need to teach our children that if they come on and they're a friend of a friend, you simply say, I'll get back to you, and I'm going to go talk to the friend. In fact, I suggest if they're close friends, they get code words between them. And the other big sign here is they'll start to get friendly real fast. They will want to get engaged with some sort of a sexual activity. Now, keep in mind, we have deep fakes now. We have AI. Any one of us can be a victim. They can take the image of anyone online and put a nude body on it. It's called a nudify site, and anybody can access them, including kids. Now, there are some states that are working on making it illegal to use a nudify site, but right now they are not. A nudify site is offshore. And literally, there are over 60 of them that I saw. Nudify sites are really dangerous from the standpoint that that is exactly what is happening, is that they are using technology to put a nude image on somebody else's face. In the case of a young girl at school, if guys are doing it, and yes, students do that to each other, that's one of the conversations I suggest you have with your young people, because they are now of the generation that they can access a nudify site and take anybody's picture and put a nude image on somebody else's head. And that poor kid is running around school going, it's not me, it's not me. And that poor kid may be your kid, because if they can do it to other people, it can be done to them. And that's why I often suggest that you talk to your child about digital morality and digital empathy. Because if you get a digital nude out there, even if it's not you, and you don't do the proper things to take it down, you're going to be applying for a university pretty soon, or you're going to be applying for a job, and that nude picture is going to pop up. And you're going to go, it's not me, it's not me. But who is going to believe you? We have to back up, mom and dad, and we have to start handling this differently. I think that this is the most exciting time in history to be alive, but it is also the most scary, because now your child can reach the entire world, and the entire world can know about you and your child. This is why I started out the podcast by saying, how much information is about you online and how much information is about your kids? And then think about what happens if somebody decides to take one of those photos and modify it so that you look like a nude. Will your child know how to handle it? Will they be willing to come to you and say, hey, mom, look at this. I'm a victim of this. Or will they panic? Because the reason these third world countries that are out there, the developing countries, the cartels and the criminals, is they have now got the same technology we have, and they look at U.S. kids as an absolute gold mine. Oh my God! Even if they get $3 or $4 or $500 out of them before they destroy their lives, $3 or $4 or $500 is a lifetime of money for some people in Nigeria. And so if they can get enough kids to send them $300 or $400 with the idea of getting them to take a nude down, they are making lots of money. The problem with it is that they'll come on and it looks like somebody that knows them. We need to have these open conversations. This is so important, mom and dad. Put away the wagging finger, the I'm going to get you if you screw up on the internet kind of thing, and sit down and say, I understood from a podcast I heard today that the whole world changed when we became globally connected. And I never, ever really thought it out. Now anybody in the world can access the honest stuff about us, that they can go on and post stuff that is not honest. And as well as images that are not attractive and in fact are downright humiliating and embarrassing. And we need to teach our child that all of this is the norm in the world they now live in. But more importantly, what we need to do is say, this is scary business for all of us, but we're going to do this together. We're going to learn it together. You're going to teach me, and I'm going to teach you. The thing we're going to share first is how easy it is to dupe somebody into believing they already know about you. And then getting you to respond as if there's some sort of close friend. We want to think about what it means from here on out to have a nude online. Up until this time, 1 out of 6 guys and 1 out of 7 girls have sent a nude online. But they think of their community differently than we do because nobody has really set them down and explained it all to them. And this is where we need you, mom and dad, pastors, teachers, anybody that works with kids, that you are no longer just dealing with social media. You are on the World Wide Web with 5.5 billion people, and some of those people are terrorists, and some of them are cartel, and some of them are just flat out blackmailers, and some of them are what we call a pedophile, somebody that wants to hurt younger people. And so we have to teach our older kids so that they can protect themselves, but also protect that next generation of young kids that are already online but have no understanding of the world they're dealing in. In many ways, this is scary, scary time. You put a 9, 10, 11-year-old kid online without constant supervision, they are going to be exposed to stuff that is just like the strip club right down the street that you would never, ever, ever let them in. But you think that you're going to be able to recognize it and that your kid will recognize it. Well, your kid's a good kid and they're smart, okay? Every one of the 40-some kids that took their own life were brilliant kids. This is the problem we've got in sharing this word. When I try to share this with pastors and teachers and parents, they'll say, well, my kid's a good kid and I think they're careful online and, they don't really want to talk about it with me. Stop. Stop right there. If they're not willing to sit down and understand the world that you put them in, then you are setting your child up for absolute disaster because the information is now out there. Play a game with your kids. Go to Grok, go to GPT, go to what's the other one? Copilot, and put your name in. Go to LinkedIn, mom and dad. See what's out there about you. Put your child's name in, all of them, and see what you can learn. And realize the next time that you talk to a friend of a friend, that people sitting in Nigeria and Myanmar and Pakistan can do the very same thing you did. So they are going to look like your next best friend. Stop immediately, especially if they start to try to get friendly. We have to somehow let our kids understand what it's like to live on the World Wide Web. And if they want a sexual image, the word is run, baby, run. Run, baby, run. Practice that with your child. A nude online from here on out can change your life forever. and you don't even need to send it because they have the ability, as long as you send them something of an image, to put a nude body on it. So it's very, very important in the future that our kids need to learn what it means to live on the World Wide Web and to be very, very careful what they say and what they send. And also, one of the things that I would share with you is because what we know about financial sextortion, and if you're just hearing it for the first time, before anything happens again, go and Google that financial sextortion that leads to suicide and look at all the cases. Go to YouTube and put in financial sextortion teen suicide and look at each and every one of those cases. I personally have studied every one of those 45 cases. I can only do one a day because it is too heartbreaking. But I want to be able to equip you, mom and dad, to understand how all this happened. You know, what happens is that once you have been tricked by an overseas scam farm, the minute they get something they can use, they start demanding money and a lot of it. And your kid panics unless you've already talked to them. This does not have to happen. Your greatest power, mom and dad, is a simple conversation, a conversation amongst friends with empathy and saying, you know, we're all new to this. Let's educate each other. I need to know that if you get involved in this, that you will know I'm not going to come in there yelling and screaming and grabbing your phone and putting you down. I am going to be here with you because 40 some young kids have taken their own life once they become the victim. Once they understand, it's too late. Because what will happen is these are Nigerian scam farms. These are Nigerian criminal groups, from the Ivory Coast, from Pakistan, from Philippines, and they become ruthless. One kid got 1,000 texts in a 24-hour period before he decided to take his life. One kid took his life within 35 minutes because it is absolutely brutal. You see, your child is no longer talking in the group of people amongst friends of friends. Friend of a friend are 5 dangerous words. From here on out, I would not accept a new person into my online life unless I can validate from my other friend that it is someone we know. And I would never allow them to set me up in something that would compromise me. You know, not only just because I'm a person of values, and that is a discussion to have with your kid, because they're going on the World Wide Web. They are now interacting with 5 million potential people, some of which are very bad guys. One of the strengths of this is for you and your child to sit down and say, if we are going to live in a global environment, there are going to be millions of people that want to bring us down. They don't know us. They don't care about us. They care about making money, and they don't care if they destroy us along the way. So let's define our values. Let's write them down. Who are we online? And this goes for us as adults as well as yourself. What is important about our digital reputation? Do we have digital morality? Do we have a reputation that we can be proud of? Because remember, it is your worldwide digital reputation from here on out. When you get ready to go off to play football or basketball with an official team, guess what? They are going to run your online reputation. Same kind of thing if you go off to a university. Same kind of thing if you're applying for a job. This is no longer about being part of a small group on Facebook or Instagram or a few people who know us. It is truly living on the World Wide Web. And that's for all of us, by the way. that all of our secrets will be out there at some point. So we have to define who we are and what we stand for. Write them out and be proud of them. And teach your kids that if somebody comes on, especially in what might be a weak moment, it's always when they're alone. I have some things here that I think are good that we talked about. The friend of a friend online enticement trap is one of the most effective for pedophiles and cartels online to at least look like they know you. It's a grooming strategy for a predator, okay? It feels safe, it feels familiar, and it feels okay socially. But that's exactly what they're looking for a teenager to come in and feel. The predator almost never starts out looking like a stranger. They're going to be somebody that kind of knows you, and that's always where it starts. It's not a cold, direct message. They don't introduce themselves as an adult. It's, there's somebody who you kind of know, and instead they start to use proximity. They travel in your group. They know a couple of your friends, which, of course, remember, are all public information. They appear in a gaming server or on Discord where mutuals hang out. To the young person, it feels like it's okay because my friend knows them. And these bad guys know exactly that that's going to lower the young person's defense. So I'm coming to the end of this podcast. I want to reiterate with you, especially mom and dad and grandma and grandpa. We need a whole new kind of relationship with our children. Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't check their phone, and I'm certainly not against having filters and parameters and like that. But I also think that we need to be the adult in the room. We need to sit down with our kids and start to explain to them what it means to live on the World Wide Web in mass audience live streaming on apps that have millions and millions on platforms like Discord or you're out there on TikTok or Instagram. You are out there and anybody can reach you. And the reason why it looks like somebody who knows you is because they have used artificial intelligence to gather up all the information they can to look like your new best friend. And they already know two or three of your friends. That's got to change. And even if you accept their friendship, watch out. Because if they start getting sexual with you, run, baby, run. Run, baby, run. We can no longer afford to have that nude online. A nude online for those 40 young people, 40 some young people that took their own life was a death sentence. Now, it didn't have to be if we teach our kids, okay, here's what I want from you. One is you never go out and meet up with someone you met online. Two is that you will promise me that you will never put anything online from here on out that will cause you embarrassment. But if it turns out to be a problem, I want you to promise me you will not panic. Regardless of what they're saying, hang up, block them, get away, and come see me. And I promise you, I'm going to be rational. It isn't my best way all the time. You know that. I'm a parent, but I'm going to do my best to be there with you. This is global warfare. I can't even say it. This is global warfare, and it is our kid on the front line. So that is my book, by the way. It is available on Amazon and Kindle and Amazon and paperback, or you can go to millionkids.org, millionkids.org, not .com, .org, and go in and, for $5, you can order the audio version of the whole book and listen to it while you're going and while you're driving. I hope this podcast has been very, very helpful to you. We need to get our kids to think about their relationships online as different because they are. This is not a minor thing. This is earth shaking. It is life changing. And in 40 some cases, it was life altering and life ending. That doesn't have to be. If we will have open dialogue with our kids, go Google yourself today. Okay. Go on those images, Chat GPT and Grok, and I can't even think of all of them. Go on to the various sites and chat bots and find out what you know that people can know about you. And then teach it to your kids. Tell them, I know that you want privacy online. I get it. We all like privacy, but you're on the World Wide Web, and none of us have ever been here before. So I want to work with you to take it on. And I hope that if you get yourself in trouble, you will trust me enough to come to me, and I will do my very best to handle it carefully, because we don't know who's out there. Don't, if you've got involved in stuff like that, don't destroy the images. Don't alert the predator that you're going to do this. Save the images, keep them private. That's a person's dignity. But go to your cyber crimes unit at your police department, take the phone and take the young person and get some assistance on it and let them stand in. Your child isn't the first and they won't be the last. But if you talk to them in advance, your child will be the one that's smart enough, number one, not to do it, and number two, to help report so that you can help save other kids. My name is Opal Singleton Hendershot now. I am remarried after the loss of my first husband. Opal Singleton Hendershot at millionkids.org. You can write to me at Opal, O-P-A-L, Opal at millionkids.org. I hope you'll buy the book, Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. And I hope you will share this podcast with everyone you know. Somebody's life might depend on it, and you can help save somebody's life. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next podcast.